What's up guys, welcome to another episode of my Legendary Weapon Guide for Borderlands the Pre-Sequel. In this video, we'll be going over the Legendary Hyperion Railgun known as the Longest Yard, which just so happens to be just like the Excalibastard, but not exactly. Now to get this weapon, you'll want to head over to Overlook and make your way down to Earworm. Keep in mind the Earworm will only spawn if you've accepted or completed the mission. You can stop the music. Since the Earworm spawns multiple times during that mission, he has a chance to drop it multiple times during that mission. The Longest Yard has increased stats compared to regular railguns and even when compared to the Excalibastard as well. It comes in all 4 elements and does increased bonus damage when you're airborne. Even though the bonus is quite considerable, going airborne to take advantage of it pulls you out of the weapon's main playstyle. Railguns are meant to be used with a more reserved playstyle. To make the most use of a railgun, you'd want to stay back and not make very many movements, allowing you to have an easier time aiming and pacing your shots to make sure they all connect with the enemy's critical spot. Going airborne makes it harder to hit your shots even with the weapon's perfect accuracy, and since the weapon has such a slow fire rate and high ammo consumption, missing a shot is much more of a penalty to you than with any other weapon type. This weapon can be used to decent effect by most characters, with Athena as the exception. Athena's elemental side is all about putting out damage quickly to increase maelstrom stacks. Railguns don't satisfy that need with how slowly they put out damage. As for Athena's melee side, the weapon can be made useful by getting one with a blade attachment, which just so happens to be the only attachment it can spawn with, and a cryo element. But if you're going to use it like that, you might as well be using the Excalibastard for its superior melee damage bonus. Unless you already used up your one chance to get the Excalibastard, I don't see any reason to use the Longest Yard on Elemental Athena. Every other character uses this weapon to only average effect. Wilhelm's laser bonuses certainly buff up the weapon's capabilities, but with the beam lasers and blasters being the superior option, there isn't much point in running the Longest Yard over a Thunderfire or a Rosie, especially since the Rosie is much easier to get. Now Jag can greatly increase this weapon's poor fire rate with his multiple fire rate boosting skills, making the weapon a little harder to control, but any player who is used to this kind of weapon won't see much of a difference. The added fire rate is definitely useful, but again, there are much better options. Aurelia also makes use of this weapon thanks to her action skill's ability to easily freeze enemies in place, allowing you to capitalize on the crit bonus and play to the weapon's playstyle rather easily. It goes without saying that a Cryo Longest Yard will synergize very well with her Cryo skill tree and critical boosting skills. However, Nisha doesn't have to play with this weapon's playstyle to excel with it. She'll do what she does best and make this weapon play to hers. Her action skill takes away the penalty that comes with missing shots and allows you to take advantage of its bonus airborne damage without upping your chance of missing. Some notable skills that synergize well with this weapon are Hell's Coming With Me, because it has a chance to let you fire 2 shots instead of 1 after reloading or reaching max ammo with Pickpocket. This will go through ammo at a much faster rate, but it will greatly up your DPS with the weapon. Tombstone is also a great skill to use due to its chance to make all hits count as critical hits after killing an enemy. I recommend using a class mod like the High Rolling Crab Shooter to boost your chance of shots becoming critical hits. Another skill to use, well, I'll admit not quite as good as Tombstone, is Crack Shot, which makes the first shot you fire from a fully loaded magazine do up to 50% bonus damage. And that's without a class mod boosting it. Nisha is by far the best character to use this weapon on. She buffs up its strengths and weaknesses and allows you to use it with a more aggressive playstyle. Enemies will frequently die in one hit, and badasses will melt at your feet. It really is a viable option on her. Granted, most weapons are viable options on her, but it's good to know that this weapon can excel on at least one character. Onto whether or not this weapon is really worth farming for, I'd say it's not. It doesn't feel like a legendary, it's just slightly better than other railguns, and it doesn't compare to the other laser options that are available. If the railgun playstyle is your kind of playstyle, or you run a Nisha, then maybe this weapon will appeal to you. But I imagine most of you would probably want to use something better and more versatile. Lasers that I would personally recommend are the Rosie and the Thunderfire. Both are excellent choices that won't disappoint you. And that's pretty much it guys. I want to thank y'all for watching. I very much appreciate it, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye!